A stroke, also known as a cerebrovascular accident, occurs when blood flow to the brain is disrupted, which then leads to brain cells, aka neurons, dying. According to this article, stroke is the fourth leading cause of death in the United States, with 795,000 people suffering from a stroke each and every year. And that was in 2015. Of those 795,000, 600,000 are first time attacks and 185,000 are recurrent attacks, with more than 140,000 people dying from a stroke each and every year. Strokes can then lead to this wide range of symptoms, including things like weakness or paralysis on one side of the body, difficulty speaking or understanding or interpreting language, loss of vision, headache, migraine. The list goes on and on depending on which region of the brain has become impaired. And not only that, but you can also experience downstream effects due to an area becoming impaired. You know the old saying, don't drink downstream from the herd? Hopefully you know why, but the brain is similar in the sense that there are areas within the brain that once activated fire and activate other regions. So, for example, if area A becomes impaired due to a stroke, now area B doesn't get activated, and when things in the brain are not activated, they too can become impaired. Just like if you're bilingual, if you don't practice your second language every now and then, you probably won't be as fluent in that language as you would be if you regularly used it. There are two types of stroke you have, and they're called ischemic and hemorrhagic strokes. And understanding the difference between these types of strokes is crucial for early diagnosis and treatment. Ischemic strokes occur when a blood vessel that supplies the brain becomes blocked or narrowed, reducing the blood flow to that affected area of the brain. The most common cause of ischemic stroke is due to a blood clot, which can form in the brain or travel from elsewhere in the body, such as the heart or the carotid arteries, and then end up in the brain. In a study of 312 stroke patients in northern Ethiopia, 65% of the patients were admitted due to a stroke that was ischemic in nature. And to just really drive this point home, this article states that most strokes, as in 85%, are ischemic. Ischemic strokes can be further classified into two subtypes, thrombotic and embolic. Thrombotic strokes are a type of ischemic stroke that occurs when a blood clot forms within one of the arteries that supplies blood to the brain, and this can be caused by the buildup of fatty deposits, aka plaques, within the artery, which can eventually rupture and form a clot. Embolic stroke is a type of ischemic stroke that occurs when a blood clot forms elsewhere in the body, usually it's in the heart, and then travels to the brain, which lodges in a smaller blood vessel and blocks that blood flow. Now, on the flip side, you have hemorrhagic strokes, and these occur when blood vessels in the brain rupture or leak, causing bleeding within the brain. These are much more serious. This article states that those who suffer ischemic strokes have a much better chance of survival than those who experience hemorrhagic strokes, because hemorrhagic strokes not only damage brain cells, but they also may lead to increased pressure in the brain or spasms of the blood vessels. The most common cause of hemorrhagic strokes are high blood pressure and weakened blood vessels. Think about like an aneurysm. Hemorrhagic strokes account for a relatively small population of all strokes, and they too can be further classified into two subtypes, intracerebral and subarachnoid. Intracerebral hemorrhage is a type of hemorrhagic stroke that occurs when a blood vessel within the brain ruptures, causing bleeding within the brain tissue. And subarachnoid hemorrhage is a type of hemorrhagic stroke that occurs when a blood vessel on the surface of the brain ruptures, causing bleeding within the space between the brain and the skull. If you've suffered a stroke, or you maybe know someone who has, I think it's important to understand that whatever symptom that you're currently experiencing doesn't necessarily have to be the life that you live through the rest of your life, till the day you die. In most cases, there are things that can be done. And if you're interested in learning more, I want you to check out this free PDF guide that I've created on our website. I'll leave the link down below for you.